Hi, this is Ed Fitzpatrick. If you enjoy local politics as much as I do, be sure to join our friends at Rhode Island PBS for the show A Lively Experiment. Hosted by Jim Hummel, the weekly series features journalists, pundits, and politicians debating the stories and issues that matter most to us Rhode Islanders. Tune in to A Lively Experiment and be part of the conversation. Fridays at 7 p.m. on Rhode Island PBS and wherever you get your podcasts. From the Boston Globe, this is Rhode Island Report. I'm Ed Fitzpatrick. Welcome back to the podcast where we bring you big conversations from our very small state. Refugees come to the United States for safety, to escape dictators, oppression, and violence. But the Trump administration's freeze of the refugee resettlement program and its ramped-up deportation efforts are making many of them wonder if they're safe here. Today, we're talking to two of those refugees. They're nervous about revealing their identities, so we're not using their names and we're altering their voices. I met both of them at the Refugee Dream Center in Providence. First, a man from Mauritania who came to the United States to escape slavery.
My language is Pular.
He actually speaks a fair amount of English.
I learning for myself into my phone, Google Translator, because I know the language is very important. When you understand all language in the world is important come from you.
But he's more comfortable speaking in his own language, so the co-founder of the Refugee Dream Center, Omar Ba, stepped in as a translator. Thank you for talking with us today.
Yeah, I am really to appreciate you about this interview today. Yeah, I am so happy.
First, tell us where you're from and why you left there.
I'm from Mauritania, and I literally fled the country in order to save my life.
Yes, tell us why you fled.
The government did something to me. I was enslaved and I protested against it. I grew up all my life, and then when I protested with a group of people, I was detained by the government, and the government finds every reason to tell me that I don't have the right to protest.
And I think most people would think slavery is something from the past, but you're saying it's going on right now, today, right?
So, yeah, exactly what you used to hear about the world or even here. That's how the kind of slavery happening in Mauritania right now for people that look like me. If anybody does not believe, just visit Mauritania, do your own investigation. You don't even have to investigate, you'll visibly see it. So, but they are there, they have a system. The government has a media that they're sending out there in the world, like some sort of branding to make it look like they've abolished it, or that's not the case. The reality is the slavery still exists. I went through it, I grew up in it, and when I refused, I stopped accepting, and a lot of people that were protesting that condition got killed, and I got tortured and eventually had to flee the country. But it's happening. Exactly what slavery means is happening there.
Yeah, could you just tell us a bit more about what happened when you protested? What was the response from the government?
What happened was a group of us, a few educated people with our community came out to protest against slavery so that the world can see. And the government came, they claimed they did not use live bullets, but it was live bullets because a lot of people got killed during the protest in the streets. So until now they are saying, oh, it was not live bullets, they were just trying to end the protest. But they killed people and it was bullet wounds. So some of us who did not die were in prison and tortured. And still now maybe some people are dead or disappeared, but I'm lucky to have escaped and fled the country. What is happening in Mauritania, I can see it from morning to night. I will not finish talking about it because it's real life slavery. In Mauritania, it's not like America where people have their rights, you can speak out, you are free, there's liberty. Mauritania, if you refuse to be a slave, they will kill you. Basically, that's the bottom line. For instance, when me and my friends protested, and the only crime we committed was refusing to be slaves, they put all of us on the back of a truck, like on layers, and the soldiers sat on top of us, like literally sat on top of us. When they threw us in jail, they refused to give us food. They denied us food and water, and it was only one small cup of water they will give us every day, one time a day, a cup of water.
Why did you come to the United States?
I know
America is a country of democracy and where people feel safe and equal, and they're known about their sense of justice and liberty. So I experienced torture and enslavement in Mauritania. Then I thought of no other place to go to for safety and rebuild my life, or no other place than the US. And that's why I fled and came here.
Can you tell us a bit about the journey that you took to get here?
I
was arrested as a result of speaking out about slavery, and some of my people were killed and tortured, and I escaped from the police detention. Then at some point I laid low and decided to flee the country, and from there I went to Turkey.
Turkey, Colombia, Salvador, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, Mexico.
How has the Refugee Dream Center helped you?
Dream Center.
It took me a while to get here, but I've been here for about 8 to 9 months in Rhode Island, and I was connected with Refugee Dream Center after sleeping in the streets. And the biggest benefit from me is getting me through the asylum process that I've already submitted.
When did you apply for asylum, and where does it stand now?
The Refugee Dream Center got me a lawyer, an attorney, and I'm working with the attorney now. I've officially submitted my asylum application, and I'm supposed to go through medical evaluation to support the asylum process. Luckily, I've also been given work authorization and a social security.
What kind of work are you doing now?
It's caregiving work. Take care of people who cannot take care of themselves.
And what are your concerns about President Trump's new immigration policies and his plans for mass deportations?
It's a lot of anxiety and fear. Right now, it's a state of confusion because, take for instance, somebody like me. I was tortured, and a lot of people that I was enslaved with have been killed or tortured or disappeared. I fled, and for the first time, I feel free and safe in a new country. And now, he made a powerful expression in Pular. I don't know how to explain that. So, escape has happened. Destination doesn't exist because of Trump's statements and behavior.
Yeah, what do you make of Trump talking about the need to deport criminals? He emphasizes that.
So I think he does not know. He needs to just probably be made aware to know the populations that he is talking about, because we escape suffering and brutality. So we are not here to cause any trouble. We just want to be safe.
What would happen if you did end up being deported?
Yeah, so it's going to be very easy to predict, because I fled there because I was going to be killed. Now, if I'm taken back there, that means you know what is going to happen to me. I will be killed. I have a wife and a child, a little child. They are both in Mauritania. I know that they are in a very difficult situation, but I had to flee and leave them.
Do you hope to be reunited with them someday?
Yeah, I'm hoping that the reunification is going to be here in the U.S.
What message do you have for our listeners?
The listeners, I just wanted to say, to tell us who we are, who I am. We are good people who came in to look for help and support and safety, and that is because of you, who you are, the people we found here, your goodness and your accommodation. So we thank you for being there for the world. We did not come to create problems or crimes. We came for protection.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today, and good luck.
Thank you. You're welcome.
After a quick break, we'll talk to a woman from Senegal. She says she left her home country to avoid female genital mutilation. When you want to go beyond the headlines, let me recommend Rhode Island PBS Weekly. Rhode Island PBS Weekly is an award-winning news magazine broadcast that gives you the full story, powered by investigative journalism and narrative storytelling. New episodes of Rhode Island PBS Weekly drop Sundays at 7:30 p.m. on Rhode Island PBS. Watch past episodes at ripbs.org/weekly. That's ripbs.org/weekly. Welcome back. This week we're talking to refugees who are concerned about the Trump administration's new policies. I spoke to a refugee from Senegal who asked us not to use her name. All right, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
You're welcome.
First, tell us about where you're from and why you left there.
I'm from Senegal. I came to America because of the female circumcision.
Is that common there? Is that is that something a lot of people are fleeing?
Yes, it's very common, especially the females. It's very, very common. It's in our culture, and then they have to force you even if you don't want to do it.
You got out before they made you do it?
Yes.
And why did you come to the United States?
Because I know it's a free land. You have the right to protest whatever you want to, what religion or you are free to whatever you want to do. So I know it's a free land, and then they welcome people. And if I'm here, I don't have to be worried. So that's why I came.
And can you tell us a bit about the journey it took to get here?
Yes, I had a visitor's visa. And then I said, okay, I'm just going to stay. I don't want to go back. And then I have kids in America. One is in the 7th grade and one is in the 3rd grade. They're American. The kids were born in here.
The kids were born
here? Yes, they were
here.
born in here. Yes, they're citizens.
What are your concerns about what Trump's saying about mass deportations?
I'm comfortable here. The fact that nobody has to force me to do something that I don't want to do. And I have my kids here. I'm raising them up, and I'm not a criminal.
What was your view of America before you came here, and what do you think of the situation now?
The view when I came, what I have in my mind was if I go, I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to struggle. Everything was going to be easy. It was the American dream. I managed to learn the language, which is English. So which I did, learn the English, understand the people, get out there, work every day, and then pay tax, get kids here, and then educate them. It was all okay until Trump came. So everything started to change. Because even sometimes you will go to bed, you will not sleep, thinking of they could knock my door anytime and then deport me, apart me from my kids. What I'm going through now, I don't wish any parent to go through that.
How has it affected your kids?
It's affecting them physically, mentally, and emotionally. Because sometimes the small one will be like, Mommy, how about if we go to school and because there was a time when we heard on the TikTok or somewhere, they heard it and they brought the phone to me. They were saying they could come to the schools and ask your kids, like, how many people live in your house? Are you legal? Is your parents illegal or are they legal? So sometimes the younger one will be like, I don't want to go to school because I don't want to be apart from you. I will die from that. So, that's emotional and that's touching. Imagine your kids saying that. And how kids in America here, they know so many things. They are aware of anything. But he was just showing me like the love he had for me. He doesn't want to be away from me. He can't stand it. So, every day they will come home. They will be like, we don't know what to do without you. If you have to go or they have to take us, we don't know where they're taking us.
Yeah, what do you think of Trump's always saying, well, I'm trying to deport the criminals? What do you say to that?
Yes, for that one, I agree. For him to deport the people that are criminals, that are here illegally and then killing people, bringing drugs, that's really unacceptable. I agree with that. But how about for him to consider people that have their families, their kids here, and they're raising them good, they are no criminals, they didn't offend anything? I think he has to consider that too. Because this America, what I learned is it's a free country. Everybody came from different angles. Maybe the Native Americans were here first, but most of the people, they came. We are not criminals and we are not bad people.
What would happen if you did end up being deported?
I will face a lot. I will be forced to female circumcision, and I will be forced to marry it. And I don't want that. And my kids, the younger one is still young. He might forget about me. I'll be there struggling, thinking about my kids.
What message would you have for our listeners about this situation?
We are human beings, we have feelings, and we are not here to commit any crime or to do anything bad. We are here with a good intention. They have good people too in America, honestly. Since this mass deportation, Trump said it, people will call you, or at work, people will come hug you, cry with you. They have sympathy for you. They have empathy. So I'm just telling them to consider us as well. The people that are genuine, they're not here to commit any crime or to do anything bad.
Yeah, what would your message for the Trump administration be?
America is known for welcoming people. America is known for good people, respect people. But right now, the way it's going, the whole world, they have their eyes open watching America. And it was not like that before.
Thank you so much for talking to us today.
You're welcome anytime. Thank you too for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Rhode Island Report is a production of the Boston Globe in collaboration with Rhode Island PBS. Today's episode was produced by Megan Hall. Audio mixing and mastering by Marissa Ewing of Hemlock Creek Productions. Our music is from APM. Be sure to follow us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen. I'm Ed Fitzpatrick. See you next week. Looking to binge watch all your favorite PBS shows? You need Rhode Island PBS Passport. Masterpiece, Antiques Roadshow, Rhode Island PBS Weekly, and many more. Watch them all, anytime, and from any streaming device. Learn more about this member benefit at ripbs.org/passport. That's ripbs.org/passport.